pretty clear quite early on in the morning. And this is Kerala that I'm talking about. I'm Mansi Phadke, Deputy Editor with The Print, and joining me are my two colleagues who are right now in Thiruvananthapuram, Anisa and Sharan. And with us to try and make sense of this entire situation in Kerala is Mr. Joseph C. Matthew, who is a senior political analyst based at the state. So the UDF, sir, has had back-to-back victories per se in the Lok Sabha election as well, and we saw in the local body polls. So in a way, would you say that this is a victory that has been in the making for a while, Mr. Matthew?
Yes, I think so. I think the 2021 election was unprecedented. The results were unprecedented because usually Kerala likes shifting the fronts and they don't vote the party back to power usually. But in 2021, there was a change. I think mainly it was because of the COVID situation which was prevailing at that time, and the people were not in a critical frame of mind. So, my take is that from 2022 onwards, people were not with this LDF formation at all.
Okay.
And there was a resentment with the ruling front. It was visible in almost all the elections. The Lok Sabha election is slightly different because people of Kerala, by and large, they are against the BJP. And at the center, they think the Congress has a better plank to oppose the BJP, so they opt for UDF and Congress. But the local body elections, usually it is the strongest bastion of the LDF. And if we look at history, we can find that usually the assembly polls have gone as per the indication of the local body elections. The only exception is 91, where Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated, and after that, there was a change from the local body election results. So, local body elections, the results were a clear pointer to the way the people were thinking. And this was almost a foregone conclusion, if we can put it. But Congress being in the opposition for the last 10 years and the way the party has declined in the entire country, the problem with Congress was they don't know how to sit in the opposition. They did not have a proper organizational unit across the state. And moreover, depending on high command, with the high command getting leaner because of the defeats across the country. So the only question was, will they be able to regroup themselves and gather together all the votes which the people were ready to give? And even now, I think more than UDF earning the votes, the people were giving it to them. They wanted this government out. But at the same time, having said all this, the victory which seems to be coming their way has taken me also by surprise, because I did not think they'll get more than 100 seats.
Right. And Anisa, you had reported on the local body polls very extensively. After that as well, I remember you had done a story on how the LDF is trying to introspect and course correct. What did the LDF try to do between the local body polls a few months ago and now? And why do you think it didn't work?
Hi. So, Mansi, during the local body polls, not just the local body polls, we also have to think about, we also have to talk about what happened in the by polls as well. Because recently, especially in Nilambur and all, where UDF won. So, except Chelakara, they weren't able to win any other by poll election. And in UDF, in local body polls, again, UDF was able to make a major sweeping victory. It had a lot of this thing. Like, for example, as Matthew sir mentioned before, there was anti-incumbency, and then the UDF also, by and large, got the support of minority votes, especially Christians and Muslims. Like, they consolidated for the UDF. So all these things were in favor of UDF, and so between local body polls and this assembly polls, there were only like a gap of like 4 months, like yeah, less than 4 months actually. So at that time, one of the thing was that like LDF had started their campaign early, and compared to UDF, they also have a better organizational structure, machinery. So we, for example, I was a couple of days after the election commission had announced their the dates and everything. We were in couple of constituencies in Trivandrum. Trivandrum, the UDP is actually weak, like compared to a lot of other districts, but still we were trying to like talk to people, Congress functionaries in other constituencies as well, and also in Trivandrum we were on the ground before we hit other constituencies. There were no Congress candidates in the field at that time. The LDF was already started campaigning, and then the BJP was also here on the ground, but then there was nothing like. UDF was not in the picture at all, at least when the campaign, in that first week of campaign. So at that time, the LDF was kind of confident that because in UDF camp especially, there was a lot of kind of infighting going on whether MP should contest or not and who will become the chief minister. So that kind of lobbying had already started. UDF was like in a disarray where they weren't able to, because especially after local body polls, when leader of opposition VD Sadition had addressed the media for the first time, he was saying that we are really confident and we are going to announce candidates first and we are going to do this that. So they were really confident, but then in the run up to the assembly polls, we were not able to see that kind of momentum in their campaign or in their confidence because again there was no candidates, there was no nothing was happening. So LDF also thought that they'll be able to kind of make advantage because of that. Yeah, but that didn't happen. And I was also talking to some like some people like in the last couple of days they were also saying that other than anti-incumbency, and sir like Matthew sir just pointed it out like rightly. So other than the anti-incumbency, we weren't able to like pick what would have happened like in the favor of Congress, like if it had won. And yeah, that seemed to be happening right now, because when we look at the LDF's situation right now, a lot of the sitting ministers are trailing, except like Pinarayi Vijayan and very few others. All the ministers are losing, and even the people, even the places where we thought was CPM bastions, they are like there also the party is kind of facing a setback. And when the Congress kind of there were a lot of rebels that who are contesting in support of like with the support of UDF as UDF independence, they were also seem to be winning. Where when these parties, when these rebel candidates were announced by the UDF, when they extended their support, CPM had like rolled out an entire machinery. For example, when we were in Payyanur and Taliparambu in Kannur, where these two independent candidates were there were like senior leaders who were camping there and campaigning. So they didn't want to lose those particular seats, but going by the result right now, even that didn't work out. So I feel like that anti-incumbency or the discontent against this government was so much more than the kind of
Right. But
support
why
the
was it
UDF had.
correct? Right. So, as Mr. Matthew said, it was more than the UDF or Congress going to the people and asking for their mandate. It was more about the people actually giving them their mandate. Because, as you also said, Anisa, that they, for a long time they were not really present on the field. But then, what are the major reasons why this anti-incumbency sentiment had piled up so high for the UDF to get such a such a strong mandate today, Mr. Matthew?
Uh,
Ma'am, see, you look at now the people have evaluated the government for almost 10 years, because the government was
Right,
also presenting themselves as a continuation of the previous government, and they were asking votes on behalf of everything done by the previous government also. Because it was the same chief minister, they were branding it as Pinarayi Vijayan government.
right,
There was a sea change from the way LDF was presenting politics in the state uh, after these two, uh, after the present chief minister came to power. So the left policies pursued by this party earlier were all thrown to the dustbin. He was translating as if it is the so-called development within braces, which is what what the people want. And the many projects that he brought up, for example, the high-speed rail that he was talking about, the K rail, uh, even before getting an in-principle sanction, which is now that project is now discarded. He started putting stones and surveys in all the people, their kitchen, their backyard. So the people had to come out and fight across the state. So that was one incident, and almost all the projects that he came up with, he was banking on those projects, and he was thinking that those will fetch him votes. But now we realize that that is not the case. And also in the party, there is absolutely no democracy. I think it is the resentment against this government rather than the anti-incumbency. The
Okay.
resentment against the way the chief minister was running the show, both within the party and also in the government. There was no one to question him there. So there was absolutely no democracy in the governance, also in the party. So, as we discussed earlier, the resentment among the party cadres also
Hmm.
has contributed in a great way. The constituencies that she was mentioning about Payyanur and Taliparambu, the district level leaders, one a district committee member of CPIM from Kannur and another a district secretariat member from Kannur, came up and contested against the party. And
Right.
now the results is out there for everyone to see. Payyanur was the constituency where the winning CPM candidate grabbed 62.9 percentage of the total polled votes last time,
Hmm.
the majority highest in the state. Majority last time was 49,800. So that constituency, the rebel candidate wins by 7,000 plus this time. So
Okay.
imagine the seat change happening within the party. So
Right.
Taliparam
And
was the same.
yeah.
Even in the Kannur bastion, it is shaking. So that is to sum up. What I'm saying is, it's not just the resentment of the party against the government; it is the resentment of the party cadres also, from the
Right.
shift which is happening in the party, which has contributed to this landslide victory.
And this is not something that we have seen in I mean, it's not a culture of left parties to have so much internal friction, resentment that boils over into open rebellion. So I remember Anisa had also done this story, but Sharan, you and I were talking little before this and we discussed this exact same thing, that was, is this more a verdict against the against Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and his he's often criticized for having a very authoritative style of functioning, or is this an anti LDF verdict? How do you see this?
Now you can, thanks Mansi, but you can look at it both ways actually. If you look at the early part of the day, the CM and the entire cabinet were trailing, and I think now the CM is slowly, slowly
Right.
inching forward. But it's not a very big margin victory as a CM you would normally expect from. So
Hmm.
this vote, I mean, every time we hit the ground, it was pro LDF or anti Pinarayi Vijayan. So it was a conflict that the people faced between the two. Now, many of the LDF cadre we spoke to, I asked them if they will vote for the UDF if they are, if they're disillusioned with this government. They said we will just sit out, but we will not necessarily cast our vote anywhere. So that was the kind of resentment there was. In fact, I just got off an interview with Mr. Thomas Isaac, who
Hmm.
made some very candid remarks. One of which was, yes, in 10 years there is bound to be some sort of authoritarian style creeping in, some sort of corruption that crept in as well. He says that this also contributed to the way they functioned, or at least the way they were perceived. Now he says that the entire responsibility of this loss, or the entire LDF leadership, does not boil down to one individual, but he was quite clear that yes, things will change within the party as well. Now the Politburo, he says, will discuss on how they take their leadership forward. So there is disillusionment within the cadre. Now he says that we have to reimagine how we approach the cadre, how we go back and speak to them, what was missing. So they have a lot of introspection to do. But as of now, it was not a very big pro UDF or an anti UDF sort of a mandate. It was a very, we vote for Pinarayi Vijayan or against Pinarayi Vijayan. That's
Against him.
completely done well for them, or against them as of now.
And what is the UDF now likely to bring to the table in governance? What were the key things that they
So
were talking about?
the governance, in fact, they've tried to emulate the same guarantee model that they have been, in fact, quite successful with Karnataka and Telangana and other places. Now they plan to bring these models in, and the former finance minister, Mr. Thomas Isaac, says that you called us a debt model. You called us that Kerala was drowning in debt. So how are you going to accommodate these new
Right.
policies, these new welfareist measures? And to be fair, Kerala has a very good, sort of decentralized system now, but they've also been very gung-ho about the kind of infrastructure projects that they've brought in. But all of this comes at a cost. The national highway, what they've built through KIFBI, their economic reforms, all of this have done well, but these come at a huge cost. Now, the Congress first has to decide who their CM will be, and the next thing is where they'll get the money for these big guarantees that they have promised, and will it be more than what is already available?
Right. And Mr. Matthew, Congress has a familiar problem. The problem that it faces in several states, it also faces in Kerala. That there are a lot of power centers within the party, and we also saw that in the run-up to the election, where there was a lot of posturing from different camps about who should be the chief minister. Is that going to be an easy problem for the Congress to solve, Mr. Matthew?
Selecting the CM may not be such a big issue as it was made out during the elections.
Okay.
I think they can resolve it, but surely there will be questions raised. And just with the selection of CM, the problems are not going to settle down either, because there are, as you said, there are many power centers, and being Congress, it is in their blood to fight it out on the streets. But you look at LDF in the last 2 decades, the fight for the chief ministership has taken to the streets several times, very unlike LDF during earlier days. But the thing is, the infights within the Congress are projected in such a way that is the success of the LDF, and that is the organizational weakness of the UDF here in Kerala. They cannot project this the same way LDF is doing it. But then, as Sharon was pointing out, I think the problem is with the finance of the state, the commitments that the Congress have given to the people. It's not going to be easy. Even the KIFBI, I think it's a failed model anyway. But at the same time, the repayment which has to be done in the next 5 years is going to be 16,000 plus crores. That has to be done by the next government. So all these things are there. So I think the problem is mainly going to be in the financial front. With
Right.
such a thumping majority, the people are going to expect much more from them. And LDF, after all the big talk about development and other things, in the opposition, they are going to be different. So they'll have to answer everything before the public, unlike the previous government.
Right. Anisa, just for the benefit of our viewers, can you take us through who are the serious CM contenders now within the Congress?
Yeah, so there are many. There are 3 leaders who are vying for the post as of now. So in the morning, when the friends were getting clear, we are outside the KPCC headquarters now. So by 10:11 itself, a lot of people with the posters of KC Venugopal had taken to the road, and they were doing a rally kind of thing. So he is obviously is there, and his thing is really interesting because he hasn't contested. He's Alapura MP as of now. So but then at the same time, since 2024 Lok Sabha election, he has been really active in the state, and then a lot of the times, like a lot of the organizational decisions that the Congress has taken, a lot of people were saying that it is because it was a decision by him, and he was kind of preparing for this battle. So that had been happening for a year right now in the state. So he is there, but then if he has to, become the chief minister, then there has to be a bypoll. So that is another situation. A serious contender is VD Sadisan, who is the current leader of opposition here. Again, like in the run-up to the polls and mainly just after the polls were conducted, we were seeing a lot of supporters, especially in the social media space and also outside when, through posters and stuff. lot of Congress supporters were putting posters supporting VD Satish and Ramesh Chennitala. So these two supporters have been like, a lot of people are saying that Ramesh Chennitala should be the, chief minister. He is the Haripad MLA. He just won the seat, and VD Satish is contesting from Ernakulam's Tharoor. So the leader of opposition, he has been he has been especially he has been grabbing headlines for like the lot of the bipole and local body win, and because he is also considered as a very election strategist for the Congress. So he has been there, and he has been, especially in the run up to the polls and all, he has been really active in attacking the government and everything. So during the campaign also, his kind of vigorous campaign and all had hit the news and headlines so much. So he is there, and then again, Ramesh Chennitala is there. He is also a senior Congress leader and also in charge of Maharashtra. So these are the three CM contenders right now. Earlier, former KPCC leader K. Sudhakaran was also there, but then he wasn't given a seat
Right.
in the election, and then he shifted support to KC Venugopal, because like after that he was saying that like he should be the CM and like all of those things. So that is how the situation is right now.
Okay. And this election, we also saw, the Congress mending fences with Shashi Tharoor and actively involving him in the campaign. He was also the co-chairman of the campaign committee of the party. To how much difference did that make on the ground?
He was
Mr.
really active on the
Yeah, Anisa, go ahead.
Yeah, so he was really active on the ground, which we didn't see during the local body elections. And also, like before that, when Nilambur bypolls were happening, he actually came out and said that he wasn't actually invited to the campaign itself because he was the only MP absent in the ground then. And so during local body polls also, we were in Trivandrum, and then we were talking to Congress functionaries, including, district president and all. And then they were saying that, like, he's generally not present, so we can't expect. And at that time, their relationship was kind of strained, him and the party, due to the like lot of comments that he made in support of BJP and everything. And he was also absent in a lot of Congress events and meetings. So after that, like he had met Rahul Gandhi and Garge in Delhi one time, and we what we understand from the sources are he's given like he was feeling that he was sidelined, and he's given a promise of like becoming a key post or role in when the Congress comes to power. And his relationship with VD Satish also is kind of whatever that we get from the sources, apparently like they're also like patched up and everything. So and he was really active. He was a star campaigner. A lot of the candidates itself like sought for him. I think he was there in over like 50 constituencies or something. And he had also done a press conference like I think on the poll evening or something. And then there also he was saying that like he was he was called by a lot of candidates, but he couldn't go because the window between that notification and the election was really small here in Kerala. So it was just a month. It was less than a month. So he went everywhere he could, and then it seemed to have worked also. And today also he was there at KPCC headquarters soon after the trench was getting clearer, and he was with the leaders, and he also saw like visuals of like leaders kind of showing their camaraderie and everything. So
And Mr. Matthew, what do you think? To what extent did his involvement in the campaign also help with the campaign's profile? And to what extent is he likely to be involved with the government that is formed in Kerala?
I don't think he'll have any involvement here, major involvement.
Okay.
Nor do I think that he has contributed to this victory in any major way. Just like an MP, he gelled with the unit here and worked for the victory this time. That is good. That is his duty. He should have done it earlier also. But I have always felt the media from outside Kerala always puts him as a factor. Whereas in Kerala, I don't think he is not such a major factor at all. So I don't think it has made any major impact. The main leaders, the other leaders that Anisa was talking about,
Right.
they have all contributed. And as I said, the people had decided this even earlier. You could see the sedateness in the LDF votes. We had no other option. For us, BJP is not an option. So we have only one option to say we are dissatisfied with you, and that was the UDF. We gave it to the UDF. That's what I make out from this verdict. And I also agree with her that these are the main names in contention for the chief ministership. And I think KC Venugopal also is ruled out,
Okay.
as I make it, because Rahul Gandhi and the High Command was very particular that the MPs are not going to contest this election.
Right.
So there is no point, after having made such a thumping victory here,
That will go
there is no
against
point
what they said earlier. Yeah.
unless there is a serious tussle from among the other leaders. Surely the leader who led this pack was V.D. Sadishan, and the people view him with that admiration. All his calculations, he pronounced it very clearly. He said, if they don't win 100 seats, he'll go to the jungle. He'll not be in politics anymore. So he had the courage to say that much before elections. So all that counts. But at the same time, Ramesh Chennitthala is a senior leader. For him, chief ministership is now or never. So they might even look for a term approach where Ramesh also gets his stint at the chief ministership. And Sadishan is relatively young, so he can bid his
As
time if at all he is ready to do that.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Now, coming to the BJP's performance, so in the Lok Sabha election, they claimed to have improved their vote share. They also got one MP. Then in the local body polls, they sort of getting the Thiruvananthapuram Municipal Corporation, it was projected as if the party has its strongest chance in that district. As of now, it's showing that the BJP is leading in two seats, which is, as Sharon and I were also talking, one more seat than it ever had before, because in 2016 it had won Neelam once. How do you see the BJP's performance? Does it really have a future in the state?
You look at the vote statistics, you will see that after the 2011 elections and before 2016, by the 2016 elections, in 30 to 35 seats, BJP had a quantum jump. One reason was maybe the 2014 government at the center. And another is the formation of BDJS, which is a unit of the SNDP, the one communal organization here. So these two reasons maybe the primary reasons. But what it did was it ate into the vote bank of the Congress in three major districts: Trivandrum, especially three: Trivandrum, Thrissur, and Palakkad. You look at the results, there is a wave sweeping across the state, but despite that, LDF has stood ground in these three districts alone. The main reason being BJP was successful in dividing these votes, which they started doing in 2016 itself. It has come down in some constituencies, but despite that, so the opposition votes, the resentment votes get splitted in these constituencies. You look at the seat which was won by, they are not leading in two seats. One seat they have already won, the Chatanur seat in Kollam. In 2016, from nowhere, from 3.2% votes, they suddenly came to the second place in Chatanur, and the same candidate. He was an SNDP office bearer there, and then last elections he could gather 40,000 seats, but still the winning candidate had, and the difference between these two were 13% votes.
Okay.
1-3. So suddenly this time they have won. And the thing is, the other friends did not see this as a place where BJP could actually win. If they had fielded candidates with special care, they could have prevented this. Because both the other LDF and UDF, they had candidates from other districts, not from there. So the local, all this added on to him so that he can just cross the line. He won by around 4,000 votes. But Neamam, the constituency where Rajiv Chandrasekhar is contesting, years after 2016, the major political party there is BJP. Even in some other constituencies in Trivandrum district. But the other two fronts are very particular, and they choose candidates very carefully that their win, the BJP win, is going to be difficult there. So, Neamam, despite this, now Rajiv Chandrasekhar is leading, and he may be able to win. But in the other seats, there are around 30 seats in the state where BJP is a decision maker. Their votes will decide who the ultimate winner is. And this has favored the LDF in the recent past. The present election vote share has to be checked upon. So that is why the LDF kept on saying we'll not go below 50 anyway. So that was the major reason. But despite that, I think BJP might get less than 15% votes even this time. That's what I think. Lok Sabha election, they get 20% votes. There is an interesting thing, like the Delhi Aam Aadmi party we are talking about. There is almost 4 to 5% votes in Kerala, where people vote for LDF in assembly elections and for BJP in Lok Sabha elections.
Interesting.
So these are anti-Congress votes, and because they know that LDF is in a better position to defeat Congress, they vote for LDF in assembly, and the same people vote for BJP in Lok Sabha polls. So that also we should keep in mind and inspect going ahead also.
Right. There was, in fact, throughout the campaign, Congress had this criticism against the LDF of having some sort of an understanding, indirect understanding with the BJP. How do you see that?
I don't think that is worked on the ground, and see, BJP cannot do it. Localized, there are some pockets where they might have done it, but it is the RSS who should be doing it. And I don't think RSS has taken such a decision this time here in the state. One major reason was because LDF also thought it is better for the BJP to see that LDF comes back to power one more time. Because if that had happened, in another 1 month's time, the Congress and the UDF would have been non-existent in the state, which might automatically make BJP the primary opposition party, and that way they can have a quantum jump. So this was what the LDF was banking on. And you can see the CM statement about Malappuram district, which was given in his interview to the Hindu, and then his supporting Vellapalli Nadeshan, the SNDP leader, for all unwanted communal statements that he kept on making. He made it again after the elections also. So what has happened is the Kerala, this is a political vote across the state. There's no point in analyzing this communally. You can see it across communities, across region. You can see this. So what has happened is the Kerala has rejected this communal agenda itself. Vellapalli Nadeshan was spitting this for quite some time, and an LDF leader and a Politburo member of CPIM, Pinarayi Vijayan was duty bound. He was obliged to come out and oppose this, and keep the left politics and also the secular politics of the state in the forefront. Instead, he tried to go soft on Vellapalli Nadeshan, and this did not go smooth with Muslims, with Christians, with Hindus. So that is how I think Kerala has made a political statement, not just to the CPM, to the entire country. And I'm so proud about my fellow countrymen who has done this.
Sharan, you have seen Rajiv Chandrasekhar's political journey, for several years very closely. He has delivered once again the Nimam constituency to the BJP. What does this say about Rajiv Chandrasekhar's political capital within the party? Sharan, can you hear us?
Hey, yeah. This is, I'm sorry, can you just repeat? Did you say Rajiv Chandrasekhar's political
Rajiv
capital with?
Yes.
Yeah, so Rajiv Chandrasekhar's entire political capital was built around him being in the Rajya Sabha. So in Karnataka, he's had alliances with, or rather, he's taken the help of all major parties to go to the Rajya Sabha until, he was asked to fight the Lok Sabha election. So the Lok Sabha election, he fought against Shashi Tharoor. There was quite a hype and everything, or rather created hype. But right now, he fighting from here, especially going against the left, going against their ideology and everything, may have worked a little for him, but not enough for him to stamp a real sense of authority or contribute much to the BJP. Since we last spoke, the BJP is now leading in 3 seats. That's Chatanur, Kalakutam and Nemam. Now, though Kalakutam is about 265 votes. So I don't know. The BJP already had, like Mr. Matthews said, irrespective of them not even winning seats, they were winning. They were raking in about 11 to 12% vote share in several other states that could be the margin of some at least 10 to 15 seats. In comparison, if you look at the IUML, though they contest much fewer seats, they get about 7 to 8% vote share. So there was already a presence of BJP voters, but to say that it's Rajiv Chandrasekhar had something to do with how many votes come in, I don't know, because we'll have to see if he wins a seat this time, and if the BJP can improve their tally by I don't know how many basis points. We'll have to see, but it's hard to say just yet if it was Rajiv Chandrasekhar who had to do something with it, or to be fair, if it was the central leadership of the BJP that had something to do with it.
Got it. My final question now to Mr. Matthews. We have a situation now where the left is not in power in any state in the country. What is the future of the left?
Yes, it's a question which they have to seriously think about. Many sympathizers of the left, including me, are so uh, unhappy about the situation, and I don't think they are helping their cause either. See, Sharan was earlier mentioning about his conversation with
Yeah,
Comrade Thomas Isaac. He is a central committee member. With all the authoritarianism creeping in and with all the corruption and other things, what did they do? Other than defending this sole leader and minimizing the party workers, just singing praises about this one leader. What were they doing all these years? So they are all collectively guilty. And one point I agree is there is no point in pinpointing one person. They were talking about criticism and self-criticism being the main thing which gets the party going in the right direction. All of them are guilty of not doing it. And I was always saying, we mentioned about UDF's lack of organizational capacity, but and I was always saying it is going to be a contest with the resentment against this government versus the organizational capacity of the LDF. So that is how I put it. But you look across the state, in Kannur, we saw about district leaders coming out and contesting against them. In Pathanamthitta, we are saying it. The Sabarimala gold theft, we were talking about the leaders who were booked. The government was forced to support those leaders. Why? Those leaders are not in the good books of the Politburo or CC members. But even then, they have to defend them. Why? They're afraid of them opening their mouth if they are kicked out of the party. So all this has put the left in a very bad position. It's not just the electoral defeat that we are talking about. The drubbing that they got, and the fact that the party cadre, rank and file, has deserted them. You can see it in their bastions. Even in the constituency where the chief minister is contesting, he won by more than 50,000 votes last time. He was leading by around 7,000 when we started this show. So look at where, even the place where his house is situated, he was not leading. And I'm not saying every leader should lead in his neighborhood, but Dhammadam was such a constituency. All the panchayats are left-oriented and ruled by the left, and then he should have had a very comfortable majority in all these places. So unlike what they projected, they have now got a realization that people whom they thought are in their kitty are not thinking like that. So that realization, and leaders like Thomas Isaac and others, I'm just mentioning him because his name came up, and the other leaders also, they are guilty of not speaking out. At least now they have to come out and do a criticism, self-criticism, and find out what is wrong. Most of them, they know what all is wrong, but then they were not ready to speak up. And just one more addition, I think the Karakotam seat, which was being led by the LDF when we started the show, was won by BJP, I think, by a slender margin. That's what I understand right now.
EC
I'm
has not
sitting in
called it yet. Yeah, Election Commission has not called it yet, but yeah, that could be the case on the
yeah.
count. Yes.
So that makes it almost 3 seats for the BJP. It's not a small margin in terms of
Yeah,
number of
absolutely.
seats.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. We'll end on that note. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Matthew and Anisa and Sharan. I'm sure you both will be bringing us more updates from the field as the situation goes forward. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mansi.